Hello all, this is James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade, and I am here with Hearts of Iron 4 and the La Resistance DLC. I'm giddy as a schoolboy right now because the La Resistance DLC has dropped, and I can't wait to wrap my teeth into this. I guess we'll get the usual political mumbo jumbo out of the way, and well, this isn't really political, it's more of my feelings about Paradox lately, which Paradox, some of you may or may not know, is pretty much my favorite developer on the planet, because they make all of my favorite games. However, lately they haven't been batting so well. They've been kind of in a slump with me, personally. And that's been largely due to the latest moves in Stellaris. I loved most everything that they did with Stellaris up until the last major DLC. They may have released another major DLC since I said the last major DLC, but the one with the criminal syndicates, that DLC, which I thought the criminal syndicates was a neat idea, but how they implement it was total rubbish. And all of the changes to the meat and potatoes of the game, the underlying way pops worked and stuff like that, really, it kind of ruined the game for me. So, where Stellaris was quickly on the rise to become my favorite game, it quickly did a 180, and I've lost complete interest in it. So that was one of Paradox's failings with me. The next major failing was Imperator Rome. Imperator Rome, when it released, I felt was a nice shell. It was a good backbone to create a good Paradox title off of. And then what happened afterwards was mass craziness, or Paradox trying to pander to the crowd that I could call non-Paradox fans, the casual normies who want to complain about everything, to include their DLC policy and this and that. And what I saw was basically Paradox making a lot of steps to bend over backwards to try to facilitate this crowd, and in doing so, they really took what was a promising start for a game that could have been something great, and took a lot of steps backwards and didn't get anywhere with improving the game. For every step forward, they took 2 steps back, as far as I'm concerned, with what they've done in Imperator Rome. So, with that being said, haven't been a huge fan of Paradox's most recent track record, but for the most part, I'm a giant Paradox fan. Crusader Kings 2 is my favorite game on the planet, bar none. And I love Paradox's DLC policy, which is something I want to say on this channel. I want to firmly say I love Paradox's DLC policy. Not because I love DLCs, but because I love the fact that Paradox continues to extend the shelf life of these great games and make them better and better. While I'm definitely can't wait for CK3, I'm kind of ambivalent about CK3. It scares me that CK3 is going to be a train wreck, and I wish that they would just continue on developing CK2. At the same time, I want to see what the train wreck is. It might be CK3. It might be better than CK2. It could happen, but from the Stellaris fiasco and the Imperator Rome fiasco, I have to wonder, will it be? And so I've got a little bit I've got some doubts in a publisher, well, in a developer and publisher, being Paradox. I've had some doubts with them lately, and they're not a company I typically have doubt with. They release a DLC, and I usually buy it immediately. And this is no exception. I've been eagerly anticipating La Resistance. I've got my own issues with Hearts of Iron 4. My biggest single issue I have with this game is that no matter what you do, you get sucked up into the one giant war. And I don't like that. I like to be in my little wars, and I hate it when the person I declare war on decides, oh, I'm going to join the Allies, or I'm going to join the Axis, and then I'm in World War Giant 3, where it never ends. I don't like that about this game. So I've gone through a lot of custom game rules and settings here to try to, I don't know, maybe make that happen less by fragmenting the world as much as possible. I've strengthened Germany, I've strengthened Italy, I've strengthened France, and I've strengthened Japan, and I've double strengthened the Soviet Union. Because the Soviets feel like they fold like a deck of cards once, even the first card is taken out from their foundation, and the whole thing just comes tumbling down. That's pretty much how I've seen the Soviet gameplay go most of the time. They turtle. They try to basically prolong their defeat as long as possible, and that's all the AI seems to be good at with the Soviets. So by bumping them up to having the most strength here in the game rules, I'm hoping to see something a little bit more out of them. The United Kingdom has always been just an annoying thorn in my side. The United Kingdom, as far as I'm concerned, is the most overpowered country in the game. And I'm especially talking about their navy. I think their navy could use with a nerf. But granted, it is the UK, and the UK had the greatest navy on the planet for, eons, yada yada yada. But I do get annoyed with the United Kingdom and their hordes of aircraft carriers always screwing with my plans. So I have no intention of buffing up the United Kingdom's strength here in the major nations tree whatsoever. United States again is the juggernaut that once it gets rolling, you can't stop it. There's no reason to give them a buff. Japan, I think, it deserves a bigger buff. They don't. Sometimes they really start to steamroll, and sometimes they don't. And I like it when they're always steamrolling, because that's just the way I feel Japan should be. I'm certainly not going to strengthen China. China is a non-factor as far as I'm concerned with the political stage of the world in my fantasies, and China's only factor I see is to be fighting amongst itself to try to become a major player when things are just a little bit too late. So we're going to leave China as is. The United States have turned to fascist because I want to... this playthrough is going to be kind of like the evil Americans versus the evil Soviets. I plan for those two to be the major powers in this particular matchup, and I expect they will clash at some point much, much later in the playthrough. Because, of course, the United States is going to have to consolidate its own region and go through its own civil war, etc. So that should be interesting. Germany, I want to restore the Kaiser. I want to get Germany thrown into a civil war early so that it's fighting amongst itself, and then turn it into a monarchy so that it's not as fascist. And if you know anything about Hearts of Iron 4, fascism is the most aggressive form of government in the game. It's kind of like the past, the government that has a past to declare war on everyone. And so I want to kind of, tone Germany down a little bit without killing them. So I think turning them into a monarchy is the best way to do that. Soviet Union, I've thrown on alternate. Alternate causes them to... the Soviet AI will focus on the capitalists first and aim blows against weaker targets in the Middle East by going down the relevant branches of the national focus tree. I like that idea. I like the idea of the Soviets flexing their muscle towards the Middle East and not going directly into Europe and with a confrontation in Germany. I want to see, maybe a European hotbed where the U.S. ends up at war with the Soviets over the Middle East. Would be kind of more interesting than the typical World War II scenario that we're used to. So that's why I've gone that way. Huh? What did I do? Soviet Union alternate. Okay, Japan Democratic. This one I wasn't too sure about. And again, I kind of want to just flip everything on its head. And so if I go a Democratic Japan, Japan's going to end up in a civil war really quickly. And so they're not going to be punching around trying to beat people up. They're going to be trying to basically beat themselves up for a while. And if they do become democratic, then they are going to still be natural enemies towards the evil Soviet Union, and they will still be natural enemies towards the evil fascist United States. So that should be an interesting power dynamic to basically take Japan out of the early game and focus them on the later game. So yeah, that's my goal here. Italy, fascist alternate. Fascist alternate, basically Italy is going to flex its muscles in Spain and try to create a strong alliance with Spain before joining the Axis, which Italy should actually not end up joining the Axis, because the Axis shouldn't be a thing, because the Kaiser should take over Germany, and hopefully that will create an Italy-Spain, fascist union that will cause some conflict in Europe while we're waiting for everything to happen. France, completely random, as there's so many cool things you could do with France. I think that having them random, because a lot of their cool things are very, very... This is going to definitely affect something somehow. Like, if you throw France communist, that's definitely going to be a big boon towards the Soviet Union. If you put them historical, well, you tend to know some things, right, of how things are going to play out. The French AI will attempt to form the Little Entente. I originally thought about doing this because, another little faction that would be poised to kind of fight Italy and Spain. I'm thinking I might do that again. I'm really... Yeah. I'm torn between randoming them, because randoming them could definitely send the world into a spin, because France would be kind of like the tipping stone of throwing the world out of balance. This keeps the world to be probably more in balance. Okay, let's go with in balance. Poland, random. I don't... so they could go fascist, they could go historical, they could go communist. I think random... Poland is going to be the... We're going to really... what did the Poles do? It could completely affect how the world turns out. So we're going to leave Poland on random. Australia, Democratic alternate. I want them to break away from their evil oppressors. From the evil crown, right? So Australia is going to focus on breaking away. Canada, I don't want to go fascist now that I'm thinking about it, because the U.S. is going fascist, and I don't want Canada and the U.S. to form a bloc over there. I want there to be plenty of of animosity between Canada and the U.S. Communist? Yeah, let's go with communist Canada. Why not? Sounds like fun. South Africa, Democratic alternate. That's basically South Africa trying to break away from the crown. New Zealand, again, is going to try to break away from the crown. India, we're going to completely let go random. If I set them to fascist, that would obviously be a boon to the U.S. and other fascist powers like Italy and or France. If I set them to historical, then Great Britain gets a powerful lapdog that I don't really want to have a powerful lapdog. If I set them to communist, well, that quickly destabilizes all of Asia into becoming a huge communist bloc. So if I set them to random, one of those things is going to happen, and I'm not sure. So it's kind of like another Poland. So what India and Poland do are going to definitely determine some things in this playthrough. Hungary, fascist alternate. Hungary AI will attempt to form its own faction with Italy and Austria. So there we go. We're trying to keep that fascist bloc to create with Hungary, Italy, and Spain, but without a Germany. So we'll still have kind of an Axis power, but without a Germany. That's the hope anyway. Balkan dominance. The Romanians are just going to be like, screw it, I'm just going to conquer y'all, which works for me. It's another smaller conflict, and I want that. Random Yugoslavia, again, kind of like Poland and India, to just make you say, oh, what the heck is Yugoslavia going to do? Czechoslovakia, I'm setting to the democratic alternate. I think that's the little entente thing. I'm hoping it is, to try to, make France and Czechoslovakia kiss and hug as quick as possible. Nationalist China on alternate. That's where they basically try to take over China. Communist China, excuse me, I've left to random. Manchukuo, they break away. They're trying to get independence. They want to take China over for themselves. And empower the King's Party for Britain. So instead of Britain being the leaders of democracy in this world, they will be another power who is fighting the political turbulence and turning towards the crown. So Germany is going to turn towards the crown, and Britain is going to turn towards the crown, and maybe we might even see a German-Britain bloc form to fight either the fascist or the evil Americans or the evil communists. That could be interesting. Also, in Portugal, I plan to go with the crown. So maybe I might end up friends with Britain instead of enemies with Britain. Maybe I might end up friends with Germany instead of enemies. I don't know, but I think any good noble monarchy is somebody we might lean towards. Netherlands leads the minor democracies. So the Netherlands are going to try to create the evil UN, and we will deal with that. Mexico is going to band up with other left-wingers in South America and try to create the Bolivarian Alliance, and they're going to take it to the evil imperialist Yankees. So Mexico is going to be gunning for the United States, which should help to create some early craziness, especially if the U.S. is going to be having its own civil war to flip fascist. That hopefully the Mexicans will take advantage of that and will try to take as much of the U.S. as they can for themselves during the chaos. Spain Spain's gonna try to go back to being a monarchy, because this is gonna be the age of the monarchy is being restored here, or that's the goal anyway. Portugal's me, and yeah, that's where we are. So let's just jump into this. And Iron Man Portugal, but we can't. It's not an Iron Man, is it? I mean, it said it wasn't. Screw it. Save game is a save game. YouTube. What's this? Why is it doing that? Go away. You're acting funny. Alright, here we are. We're actually in the game finally. After a lot of winded conversations. So, what do we got here? We have Portugal. Because it's the La Resistance DLC, I wanted to play Portugal, but excuse me, Portugal is not exactly one of my favorite. Well, it's not my favorite country to play, but it is my type of country I like to play. I like to play as smaller countries, and Portugal is kind of a smallerish country, but at the same time, it's the type of smaller country I definitely don't like to play, in that it's got these little enclaves all over the world, and I don't like having everything spread out everywhere. I prefer to have all my eggs in a basket, if you will. So we'll have to figure that out. Let's get the research going. We only have 2 research slots, and I think infantry weapons are probably a high priority, but industry needs to be a high priority too. Yeah, industry should be our biggest priority, and then our second biggest priority is probably tech. Yeah. So the infantry is just gonna have to wait at this point, because we are a backward society. We're not very smart at this point in time, but we'll try to fix that. Free civilian factories. Well, we're going to need more of these civilian factories. We're going to need a lot more. So we'll get a couple of civilian factories queued up. Free dockyards, you say? I can't imagine we can make a ship worth its grain in salt right now, so obviously convoys. Can't go wrong with convoys, right? Missing equipment production. Well, that's just the way things start off. National focus. Indeed. So I haven't had a great chance to study the tree yet, because I just got the game. But I am excited. I love new focus trees. One of my favorite things about this game are these focus trees. Continue the public works. Add infrastructure. Infrastructure. 1, 2, 3, 4 infrastructure. Several building slots. Gains national spirit. Improved production, which grants constructive speed. That's huge. Really huge. It would probably be the smart way to go. I could get rid of unreliable army. I'm gonna need to do so sooner than later because I'm gonna want to get involved in the Civil War, which is gonna break out almost immediately. Political power. This is probably the right way to start off here. Either way, these 70 days are going to be important. I would like to get that extra research slot ASAP. Yeah, let's do this. Hopefully, we'll still have enough time to get involved in the Civil War. They supposedly have delayed it, so I should have plenty of time to get into the action. Evidently, Paradox has done stuff to make the Spanish Civil War kind of prolong itself. Unassigned divisions. Yes, indeed, we have lots of unassigned divisions. Why don't we just assign them all? Where do we have more? Yep. There you go. More. Yes. You know, actually, you guys go there. You guys go there. There. Why isn't it taking me to this? I want to see this specific unit. Double click to select all, right click to pan to the... There we go. I don't think I like this template. That's going to be my guess. Where's this one? Here. This one is here. 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 Let's take a look at that template. Where are those things? Not under logistics. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, that template is horrible. No. It should be the exact opposite. They should not receive equipment first. How do I disband this division? Why? So I need disband all select. There we are. It does need to remember how to play here. Click, click, click. Alright, that should put some supply back into the works. Infantry leader, cavalry leader, old guard. You'll go there. They don't need a leader for now. You're the field marshal. Wait, why are you not? Wow, it's like I've never played this game before. You can have the cavalry. Anyway, I want you guys training. Did I do the right click? There's some special click now. Click to start. Is it shift click? Click to stop the exercise will automatically stop when all units reach the maximum training level. Perfect. That's what I want. Okay, so we've got the whole training thing started. Missing equipment, we know. We're working on it. Insufficient resources. Just what are we missing? We're missing oil. 13. Steel. We have -7 units of steel for use needed by production lines. 7. Deficit 14. We're probably going to need to trade for steel. Who do we want to trade with? The United Kingdom, since... or a German Reich. Let's go with the UK, since we're trying to forge that monarchy bond, and really at this point in time the UK should like me anyway, so this should be kind of the way to go here. And let's unwind the clock and get things moving. Alright, we are off and running, and I am trying to knock the rust off. This game, haven't played it for a little while. I've put a lot of time into this game, so I'm not a complete nub, but I do feel like one right now. in some of the struggles I've had early on trying to get things to work. There's new content. There's lots of new content, as well as new buttons. I have my research assigned. There's intelligence agencies, but we don't have the... This costs civilian factories right now, and we don't even have enough civilian factories to be able to do anything with that, let alone... right. That might make sense. So we need 5 civilian factories to create a spy or a network or whatever it is, and we don't even have 5 civilian well, we probably do, but we don't have... Yeah, we've got 8 civilian factories right now working on making us some more civilian factories. So it's just not going to be a thing, not anytime soon. We are just the weak, tiny little Portuguese nation. We're not very industrial. We're a bit backwards, but we're gonna work on that. We're gonna make things better. We're gonna make Portugal great again. Well, yeah, I think that statement's okay, because Portugal probably was a pretty great nation a few hundred years before this time period. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that comment and say it makes sense. We're gonna make Portugal great again. Where are our ships? And how many ships do we have? We have some submarines and destroyers, is that it? Oh, I like how it shows the trade. Not sure if it did that before, to be honest. Yeah, that's what we have for ships, assigned ships. That's, well, it's a start, I suppose. We got a few airplanes too. I feel like something should have happened by now. I'm on speed 4, really. Here we go. Germany embroiled in civil war. A sudden warm-act coup led by the famed Field Marshal Augustus von Mackensen has triggered a civil war in Germany earlier this morning. Fascist royalists and Democrats alike have taken up arms against their former countrymen, and military units have been removed from the borders to see through the internal threat. The fascists, under the orders of Hitler, have already vowed to destroy the nation rather than to see it fall to treasonous Germans. Well, that's interesting. And expected. Okay. Continue the public works. Excellent. I do certainly want this research slot. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something we just got to do. We've got to become less backwards as soon as possible. Didn't I just select it? Okay. And unclick. Missing equipment, no divisions. Yeah, we're not going to have any divisions in basic training anytime soon. Insufficient resources, need aluminum. Yeah, we are already trading as many factories as we can afford to trade for the steel. So, no, you're not getting your aluminum. So we do have these awful, well, we have this good one, so plus 10 construction speed, but we're losing minus 20 to this national spirit, unstable republic. And we also have unreliable army modifier, which isn't very good either. Okay, we researched something. Woohoo! And researching something is always good. But we must continue to research stuff. We must continue to research the research so that we can research faster, thus be able to research the research that other people have not researched as of yet. If that made any sense, well, then I'm glad you understood what I've said. But that's what we're doing. We are focusing our 2 research lines, with one of them being completely focused on research, the research of the research, to become the greatest researchers ever. Insufficient resources, yes, we know. Decisions available. Anti-democratic raids, huh? Doesn't sound like anything I want to do. Go away. We don't want to ruin our stability. Wait, effects when selected, gain base stability minus 10%. Weekly stability goes up, daily democracy support goes down. So you lose 10% of your stability, but you get a 0.7% for 120 days? So does that come to be a net gain of stability or loss of stability? I can't... Weekly stability. How many weeks are in 120 days? 7 days in a week. Italy has taken over Ethiopia. I don't know why I'm focusing so much on this right now. 7 goes into 121. 5, 0, 7 goes into 50, say 7 times, so that's 49 with a small remainder. So 17 times 0.7. Well, if it was 10 times 0.7, that would be 7. So yeah, it is actually a net gain of stability over time. And I would lose daily democracy support, which wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, that might not actually be a horrible thing to invest in here in the near future, but for right now, we're going to need our political power for other things. But the rate on democracy there isn't as bad as I thought it was. Basic machine tools. Stop the presses. We cannot spend any time not researching. Researching must be done. And I need to click on the right button. There we go. We're in 36. And concentrated industry. Well, we are kind of a concentrated country, so concentrated industry probably makes the most sense for us. Though, we are a country that definitely needs to build up quickly. And I think that needs to be our most important focus at this point in time, is getting built up. So, while I love factory output and having more factories in a state, the factories need to be built faster. All right. So it's raining on the Iberian Peninsula, and the Spanish Civil War hasn't broken out quite yet, which should happen at any second. Be nice to get that extra research slot. I think that was the right way to go. Research is just so important in the game. It doesn't matter how you cut it. You need your research. And while I do know that getting some army experience in the Spanish Civil War is going to be fairly important, I think I'll have plenty of time to get the army experience. And it is kind of true that who are we? I want the monarchs to win the Civil War, and I think when the Spanish Civil War breaks out, it's going to be, well, how do I put this? It's going to be now we'll start focusing on infantry. So when the Spanish Civil War breaks out, it's going to be between the nationalists and the between the fascists and communists right off the bat. And those aren't really the sides I'm supporting. So I don't know how that's going to work out. How am I going to support the monarchists? Well, I guess we'll figure that out when we get to it, right? Building slots, infrastructure, building slots. Building slots adds an infrastructure in a civilian factory in Lisbon. I don't know as if I should be. What's food industry? Building slot, civilian factory. 2 civilian factories compared to 2 100% research bonuses for industry. Well, that's really only 2 researches that are going to get done much faster, and that's a pretty big thing. The civilian factories are permanent. That's kind of a temporary boost in research, where that's a permanent boost in industry. And then a new industry has research advanced machine tool. The focus will be canceled. Add a building slot and a civilian factory. Gain national experience in new industry, which grants construction speed. I do like construction speed. But that's just straight up 2 more civilian factories. So 4 civilian factories here. 1 civilian factory and more construction speed here. I don't know. I think the 4 civilian factories is just going to out workhorse that 10% construction speed. I think this is the way to go, but is this the time to go that? I mean, I need the civilian factories as soon as possible, but I also need to start getting down here. Support Spanish nationalists? No, I don't want to support the nationalists. Strict neutrality in Spanish Civil War. I think I need to look at this. Yeah, I definitely don't want to go this route. Empire. What is over here? Mutually exclusive with support the Spanish Republic. Strict neutrality in Spanish Civil War. Support Spanish nationalists. Return of Duarte. Requires a royal wedding. The non-aligned party will now be called Casa. Change in popularity of non-aligned. Change in popularity of democracy. Change in popularity of fascism. Fascism and democracy is going to go up, and non-aligned is going to go down. Whereas that's in our country. That doesn't sound good. Gains monarchist on the rise, which grants weekly stability and daily support for unaligned. Gets events monarchist on the rise, gains monarchist on the rise, daily support for unaligned goes up. The non-aligned party will now be called Politics. AIB becomes ruling party. Empire of Brazil. Brazil gets a monarchist uprising. If Brazil is not non-aligned and has less than 50% stability or 70% neutrality, when this focus is completed, Brazilian monarchists will start a civil war, dragging us into it. Brazil is not non-aligned and has less than 50% stability or 70% neutrality. Okay. Support the Spanish monarchy in war. Here, that's interesting. Requires the return of Duarte. The Spanish Civil War has begun, not the Spanish Civil War has ended. Carlos Spain exists, at peace with Carlos Spain. Carlos Spain gains helpless in Civil War, opinion of Portugal, manpower, national spirit, volunteers in war. Send 20,000 infantry equipment to Carlos Spain. Old ones go first. Set the rule, can send volunteer for. Yes, I think this is the way we go, and so we're gonna go with. Well, that gives us construction speed and political power. Yeah. Off we go. Sorry, that took a little while, but you know, these decisions are important. They're the decisions that kind of make the game, right? I mean, it's a country's future at stake here, and we can't enter into these decisions lightly. No, we must be valiant stewards of of the flock that we're leading. We must look out for the people and make Portugal great again. And it's still raining on the Great Plain of the Ibu. Wait. You ever heard about, how does it go? The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. They got a lot of plains. I mean, I'm seeing plains here, I suppose. But I'm seeing a lot of mountains and hills. I don't know why I thought of that. It's just a thing, I suppose. I heard something. A decision. Decisions are available. I suppose we should see what they are. Ban fascism, ban communism, and improve workers' conditions. Less than 100% stability. Consumer goods factories 5%. Weekly stability goes up. Factory output goes down. No. What else? Fascism and communism. Change in the popularity of fascism. And it would mess with our stability. No. Communism. Again, it would mess with our stability. If anything, democratic raids might be something we do because it will give us a net positive on stability in the long run. How democratic are we? We are a little bit democratic. It couldn't hurt. I don't know. We're not that democratic, though. Ah, they're done. They've trained. Well, we're almost caught up on support equipment. Still have some infantry equipment to go. And we don't have any artillery cooking. Which, that'll be next in the priority of military hardware we're going to work on. But first we need another military factory to make that happen. And before that happens, we need more civilian factories. Alright, we have a Spanish Civil War going on. Renewal of the Rome Protocols. At Hungarian instigation, Italy, Austria, and Hungary have renewed the Rome Protocols originally signed in 1934. The agreement pertains to economic development and rapprochement, essentially a declaration of friendship. There are signs that it may lead to an official alliance aimed at counteracting the growing revisionist and expansionist tendencies of Germany. Interesting. And we have got another focus. Political power unlocks stir monarchist settlement in Brazil. Yep, we're going that way. Modify government. Oh, right, we've got political power. We have political power. Research speed. Civilian factory constructions. That's the... Yeah, very possible. Civilian factory construction speed, refinery construction speed, infrastructure. All good things. Consumer goods. Nope. War industrialist. Military factory construction speed. Dockyard. Fuel silo. Eh. Huh. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Alfredo, welcome to the ministry. There is much happening in Spain. Yellow and what color would this be? It's not really an orange. Kind of like a peachy color. So the peach and the yellow are fighting. These guys seem to be encircled. They could cut off that port. They could get rid of this. That's what I would do if I was the nationalist. I'd get these ports cut off ASAP. But now on the flip side, I'd focus down here on these enclaves, and then get a solid Navy mutiny. Hold the phone. Navy mutiny. Whoa. The Revolutionary Organization of the Fleet has organized a mutiny among our Navy, putting several officers under arrest. The purpose of this naval revolt, led by the destroyer Dow, is to sail to Spanish ports in the Mediterranean and take part in the Spanish Civil War, siding with the Republicans. However, the hesitation of some of the crews have hindered the success of the mutineers, and we still have the opportunity to stop this folly. Stop it now! We cannot have such horrible things happening. The mutiny has been crushed thanks to the swift actions taken by our local coastal forces. The rebels have been arrested and punished according to their treacherous acts. To prevent further insubordination attempts, we have replaced the crews of the ships involved in this revolt by reliable sailors affiliated with our organization. Well, take those who mutinied and tar and feather them, and then stick their heads on pikes. And think of other creative things to do. This shall never happen again. How dare they? The Navy should not mutiny. That's just... So I'm thinking, if I end up siding with the Monarchists in the full-blown war, how am I going to defend my territory? I don't have an army large enough to garrison my borders. I really don't. Now, hopefully I'll just be able to, send volunteers to the Monarchists. Stuff and things should be happening. A royal wedding, soon to happen. Support weapons. Excellent. Stop the presses. Research must be done. We are in 36, so those are 38 techs. No. Yeah, I don't really have the industry to make motorized right now. As much as field hospitals would be nice. Nah, tanks, that's just not on the table ever. We're not, artillery. I'm not even building artillery yet, but I should be, but I can't. I don't have a factory for it, but it certainly is something I'm going to make a factory for. So this is definitely a possibility. Land doctrines, you can never go wrong with the land doctrine. Navy's gonna be important-ish, but no. Let's see. Fleet? No. Air? We're too obsolete to be worrying about trying to do everything. We need to specialize in, I think, just ground combat at this point. Engineering, reinforce rate, that couldn't hurt. Concentrated industry, that's definitely useful. That's what we're gonna do. Right, looks like the battle lines are starting to stabilize. A lot of the enclaves are starting to vanish. These should be gone shortly because they no longer have a port supporting them, so they're basically cut off. Wait, what happened here? Okay, port's been cut off, port's been cut off. All these enclaves should vanish. And then we should have a very stabilized line form between the yellow and the peach. Mechanical computing, construction, hold the presses, we have research to do. Alright, we're still in 36, so we're going to want to increase our resource gain as much as possible. Yes, most definitely. And, yeah, we just recently looked through the other alternatives, right? And I think we were debating between the reinforce rate and something having to do with our, yes, artillery. Alright, so 2 enclaves to go. And look at that, they got a hold of this port up here, so yeah, we're definitely going to see things stabilized. A royal wedding. Excellent. Return of Duarte. Change in popularity of non-aligned. Change in popularity of democracy. That's just awful. Change in popularity of fascism. Gain base stability. So my stability and my non-aligned is going to go down. They haven't popped up yet. But I kind of want to be ready for if they do. Be nice to get rid of the unreliable army modifier. The Spanish Civil War has begun. Carlos do not exist yet. Well, that would take my stability down to 64%, so it still won't be like I'm completely unstable. Duarte, though. I think we get a new ruler. And if I'm right, this current ruler we have is giving us weekly stability and infrastructure I definitely do want to go this route. But what I'm currently thinking is should I go this route now? I mean, 140 days is a lot of time. That's 30, 60, 90, 120. That's over 4 months. And we haven't seen the Carlos pop up yet. I want to be ready to support the Carlos if they do pop up. Because what if they pop up and we're not ready to support them and they get crushed? But I don't necessarily want to take the stability and non-aligned hit too soon. Alright, I'm going to slightly delay that one. I might end up regretting this, but I'm going to get rid of unreliable army here. So that's going to prolong this 70 more days. And with that 70 more days, I'm going to use some of this political power I got to actually ban democracy. So this will drop me down to 74%, but in 120 days, I'm going to take this to try to counteract what I'm about to do. So we're going to get rid of some democratic support now, and hopefully up our stability. And then, do we have any political advisors that can help us out here? Ooh, political power gain, daily support for unaligned. Ah, I definitely like that. Yes. That was just what the doctor ordered, I think. Now we're hoping that our slight 70-day delay is going to time things better for us to get into the Spanish Civil War when the Carlos appear. A royal wedding in Brazil. Today, Dom Duarte Nuno, Duke of Braganza, married Princess Maria Francisca of Orleans Braganza in the Petropolis Cathedral in Brazil. This marriage has not only reconciled the Portuguese and Brazilian Brigantine houses, but has also united the Miguelis and the liberal Braganzas, leaving behind the rivalries between the Portuguese royal family and the stirring up the monarchist sentiment in both countries. It is said that following the ceremony, Dom Duarte engaged in several conversations with known Brazilians and Portuguese royalists. Ladies and gentlemen, were the words. I should have paused it. I didn't actually finish reading that. And our stability is going up rather quickly. Dominions break with the crown. Hey, here we go. Let's hear about this. Representatives of the Dominion governments today announced that they will unilaterally be breaking ties with the crown. They cite the king's flagrant disregard for the opinions and wishes of the Dominion governments and their peoples as the primary reason for why the British Commonwealth relationship can no longer continue. This crisis, brought on by the king's intent to marry Wallis Simpson, has now resulted in the formation of a new Commonwealth of Nations with the various dominions, and it seems that the present paralysis of the British government will preclude any action being taken in response to this move. This is undoubtedly what the Dominions have hoped for, an empire in crisis. Alright, get rid of that one enclave there and you guys will have a nice stable war going on. Germany is having an interesting little civil war there. Looks like the Kaiser is pushing on Germany. Things could fall any moment there. Berlin seems like it could be in trouble here. We have some forces cut off. I think when Berlin falls, the Civil War will probably end over here, and the monarchy will rule supreme in Germany. Let's see if we can watch both wars at the same time. Looks like German military junta took 13 states. German Reich was annexed. The Kaiser now rules in Germany. Largest world tension has been generated by... Why is a civil war considered something that creates world tension? Really? I mean, it's not like Germany went out and conquered another nation. They basically conquered themselves. I disagree that should create that much world tension, to be honest. But hey, you know, that's me. German Civil War ends. Let's hope the new regime is more accommodating. Leadership purges in the Soviet Union. Army reorganization. Woohoo. No. It's time to return of the Duarte. So we got rid of the unreliable army. We could ban the Democratic Party again. What else do we have here? We have these. Stir monarchist sentiment in Brazil. We will exhaust the monarchist elements in Brazil to take action and spread a royalist sentiment among the Brazilian population. Brazil at peace. Brazil will receive daily support from unaligned for 180 days. Portugal is promoting sentiment for 180 days. We'll lose political power gain. Instantly cancelled if one of the following must be true. Has completed the focus. Empire. Brazil is at war with Brazil. Brazil less than 15%. Less than negative 15% support for Estado Novo. I'm definitely thinking about this. I wouldn't get much political power gain. What does Brazil think about... Oh. Brazil loves non-aligned. I don't need to support it. They're all for it. Right. Forget that. Okay, what were the other decisions? We must urge the people to accept Dom Duarte as the legitimate king of Portugal. Less than 100 support for UN. Daily political power gain. Weekly stability. Ew. Weekly stability doesn't sound good. Daily support for unaligned goes up. Has completed focus restoration of the monarchy. Yeah, I don't think we need to do that. I think we just continue on as is. Olympics are done. We have artillery. Ish. We have a passive for artillery. Anti-tank couldn't hurt, though I don't have factories to produce it, and I'm not going to produce it until I have artillery produced. So, just not important right now. Tanks are never going to happen. The infantry doctrine. This could be the time for an infantry doctrine. Or radio. Oh, yeah, I think radio makes more sense. So yeah, the battle lines have been clearly drawn now. Concentrated industry, okay. Wait, what am I doing? Concentrated industry. We need to research. It is now 37. Because it's 37, it's probably time to get more construction speed, though. Yes, construction speed. Get on it. Get hot. Make it happen. Feel stockpiling, which is a good thing. And the Duarte is going to return soon. What that means for us, I'm not exactly sure, but it will be a thing. Indeed, it will be a thing. Okay. But before that happens, modify government, huh? Daily, no, that's not happening. That's not happening. Maybe financial expert. No, Democratic reformer. No. No. Maybe no. Tank, ship, aircraft, material, industrial. What theorist is this? Naval, military? Nah. Anyone cool down here in the military staff? I mean, you'll be okay in the future-ish. Yeah, you guys are the same guys. Economy? Can I change? Should I? I mean, maybe. Do I have any focuses that change it for me? Oh, I don't know. We're not going to modify government just yet. I'm going to save my political power to see what happens now with the return of Duarte. Okay. I still have my leader here. So I was expecting a new leader here with the return of Duarte. Though, holy crap, what just happened? Right. So, yeah. That's pretty crazy. Okay, the monarchists are not there yet. Promote the monarchist cause in Portugal. Gain monarchists on the rise, which grants weekly stability, daily support for unaligned. I don't want to hit my stability any more than I have to right now. What is this here? Monarchist uprising. No, I'm not ready to fight a war in Brazil right now. I think now is the time to look elsewhere in the tree for stabilizing things. Right. Are there any stabilizing things in this tree? A lot of Navy stuff. Army, starting planning, right. Yeah, I'm thinking wishful thinking right now on my part. So if we can't get stabilizing things, what is this? Adds one building slot, one military factory available as design company, which grants motorized research speed and motorized equipment design. Which grants flight aircraft. Those are two military factories. This is infrastructure, naval bases, civilian. Honestly, civilian factories. That seems like the thing to go with right now. Didn't I just go with it? Okay. What did I click last time? I'm not sure. Alright, in the meantime, we need to find a way to fix our problems. And I think we're going to have to do it through the use of political actions. And which political action can give us the most stability and fixing for the cost. And I'm gonna think banning some democracy is in order here. Yes. Please give me some more of this. Anti-fascist raise. Maybe when we get a little bit more stability, we might do some fascist raids. Do we want to convert our factory power into stability? I think this might be the time to do such a thing. Yeah, let's do it. Let's stabilize the country. Okay, excavation. Woohoo. It's 37, and it's time to move on. Keep on moving on. Machine tool, please. We have factories. Right. Nice. Yeah. And there right afterwards. We're gonna, yeah. Civilian factories, please. Let's make them. Spain declared war on... Hey, we got something going on here. Anarchist uprising in Spanish Civil War. The Republic hardly needs outside assistance to lose. Wait, anarchists? Those aren't Carlists. The Spain declared war on nationalist Spain. Okay, so we have a three-way civil war, but those aren't Carlists. And we're sitting here waiting on Carlos, and those definitely are not Carlos. But that's interesting nonetheless. Pakistan declares war on India? Whoa. Really? That's an interesting war you don't see happen very well. You don't see happen in this game that often. Alright, Edward the VIII empowers the King's party following the royal marriage between King Edwards the VIII and Wallace Simpson, the king has now appointed the leaders of the newly formed pro-monarchist King's Party, Winston Churchill, Oswald Mosley, and David Lloyd George, to form a new government after the nation's extended period without one. Supporters of Edward VIII applaud the formation of a loyal government, but critics point out that the new government is so supportive of the king's wishes that we might as well consider the king to be de facto an absolute monarchist. Okay, sounds good. Oh, still paused. So, nationalists are getting pretty close to Madrid here. The nationalists are really kind of steamrolling through Republican Spain there pretty easily now. They're just walking right down our border. Well, might as well go with textile industries. Civil War will start. Yeah, we gotta avoid that. So I'm only at 59% right now. I don't think this is a good time to trigger this one. I think we need a little more working up our civilian might. Let's get the civilian factories going and we'll just let things coast as they are. Okay, radio. Enables building radar stations, which is very useful. It enables director fire, fire control, and 38 would be ahead of time. We don't really have the ability to build a radio station at this point in time. So we need something that's going to be a little more impactful for us in the immediacy, and that would be probably a land doctrine. Though, so this is going to be another hard decision. A land doctrine for Portugal. Okay, Portugal could, and I mean could, I haven't played Portugal in this manner with this. This is a new way of playing Portugal. The game is going to at some point hand me Brazil, and Brazil is going to be core, not non-core. It's going to be core, and that's going to probably increase my population tenfold. So in the upcoming future, population might not be such a limiting factor to Portugal as most people would feel Portugal would be in a normal playthrough. But now with the inclusion of Brazil into the mix of Portugal, population, manpower shouldn't be as much of a concern when looking at the battle doctrine. So really, what are we looking at? We're not going to have the tank warfare that a Germany will have, because we're behind the ball in tanks. And I don't think we're ever going to be caught up in tanks. In fact, I don't think we're even going to bother with tanks. So armored tank warfare probably isn't important for us. Infantry we will have at some point. Are we going to have a robust Air Force? We might have an okay Air Force at some point. So we're looking at a doctrine that isn't tank reliant and doesn't focus on creating manpower. So I think the mobile warfare doctrine is one that kind of probably most works for tanks and the like. It's probably not for us. And then mass assault is, I think mass assault is the one that most countries that don't have a lot of manpower go with to try to create manpower. Correct me if I'm wrong, but well, no, mass assault. Perfect weapons are overrated. Large numbers of good enough weapons. Path to victory. Armored car enables tactical elastic defense. Reinforced rate makes planning. Infantry combat with car. Recovery rate. Out of supply, supply grace. What's grand battle plan? Entrenchment, planning, defense and organization, all infantry as well as motorized and mechanized. Breakthrough, soft attack. Leg infantry, breakthrough, organization. Mutually exclusive, so one or the other. Okay, this is more motorized. Armored car, tank organization, overwhelming fire, tree, tank organization, supply consumption, land night attack, breakthrough, armored car, tank, max planning, armored car, tank. Alright, I'm seeing a lot of armored car tank stuff in the grand battle plan. Superior firepower. So far so good. Either or here. We have line artillery. We're going to have plenty of artillery. We have integrated support, soft attack, and organization. Kind of like this line here. Tank and armor variants breakthrough. Mechanized. So this would be a useless one for us. All infantry and motorized mechs, soft attack, artillery support, army hard attack, tanks and armor variant, or reconnaissance. Okay. Armored car, all infantry, some tank stuff, but it has infantry in it. And this is all frontline battalions, all infantry, motorized, mechanized, artillery. Reinforce rate, soft hard attack, hard attack. I'm kind of liking superior firepower doctrine the most. Probably going this way, this way, this way, and this way. So, integrated support and shock and awe. I see that as being Portugal's way forward. So, there we are. Superior firepower doctrine is going to be the path that Portugal, Brazil will take to the future. However, with the Hindenburg disaster, we'll probably wrap this episode up. The disaster of the Hindenburg will be a good place to call this a wrap. We have gone, almost a year and a half into this episode. We set up the game. We went through setting up various different non-historical focuses for the world at large. Currently, we are looking at a very interesting world where one of the only wars right now is Pakistan and India, and then the Spanish Civil War. So the world is actually a quite peaceful place, and I kind of like it. I'm enjoying how this playthrough is working out so far. I would rather see less happening early and more happening late, and to keep as many wars regional as possible without, just kind of like collecting the entire world into one big war. Anyway, I am James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and hopefully the car lists show up in episode 2. And I know you'll be there to watch episode 2 as we meddle with the Spanish Civil War to make the car list reign supreme. Anyway, until that time, hopefully you're enjoying my content. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, peace.